What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Wormy. I'm coming at you with another video, and I'm mainly making this video because I saw this recent article from Fandom Pulse that really got my noggin a turning, and we can read it right here. Fallout creator claims video game developers have no idea what gamers want, then blames gamers for providing bad feedback. And I actually have to commend John F. Trent here because he actually linked the initial video of the Fallout creator, and I decided to actually go through it and actually listen to what he had to say. And I gotta be real honest with you guys, when I listen to this, yes, it is, it's not a great video. I'm not gonna lie there. It's not fantastic, and it has a lot of issues in this whole thing, but there are some points I think are relatively valid. But I will also point out that his video's titled, "Do Devs Know What Gamers Want?" And when it actually comes to what's said in the video, there's a lot of this that actually I have to say, yeah, making a game's hard. Getting criticism on a game is hard. You have to sift through it and do the work when it comes to this. But I want to take up some time and actually show you what he had to say. And it really starts off actually more around the 1 minute mark when he comes out and says, well, this.
Because I want to give you the raw, unfiltered response to, do devs know what gamers want? And here it is. No. No, we don't know what you want. We have no idea, seriously, what you want.
And yeah, that's pretty self-explanatory, especially if you consider several of the more modern games that we've been getting right now. Devs definitely don't know what gamers want. We can compare things like Concord to Marvel Rivals, for example. When it comes to Concord, this game, which came out from Sony and Firewalk Studios, was immediately blasted for a variety of things. Be it the game's characters, or maybe even the fact that they decided to focus in on identity politics and virtue signaling the entire time, giving every character their own pronouns, and also designing every character to be, well, extremely ugly. But on the flip side, you can take a look at things like Marvel Rivals. Well, Marvel Rivals is super successful, and when it comes to its characters, they're extremely masculine and also just downright gorgeous.
Who wants to see something fantastic?
So yes, they don't know what we want actually, and it's very telling to see that. But his explanation as to why they don't know what it is that we want is honestly a little bit more annoying and shocking, to say the least.
Here's the longer answer, and it's all kind of can be summed up as, because you don't know either. But you got to remember, I'm saying the collective you. I wish English had the collective you. Southern English does. Y'all don't know what you want. Let me dive into that. This is a deep dive on why y'all don't even know what you want, which is why we don't know what to give you.
And in reality, it's sort of a deep dive, but it's not really that great. And some of his explanation isn't even that fantastic when you actually sit down and think about it, because his justification that we don't know what we want is really flawed if you sit down and ultimately think about it. Now, there are some points in which I will be agreeing with him. Let's be real fair here. One of his first points, yeah, I have to agree. We as gamers, we always like to tell you what we don't like. Again, take a look at Concord. We can easily tell you what we don't like about Concord and several of the issues. Further than that point, yes, gamers are going to be critical the entire time. It's not really that shocking.
Many of you only tell developers what you hate. Great. You said what it is you don't want, but what is it you want? But I can just say, when you keep saying, I hate this in games, I hate this feature, I hate these kind of characters and all that. Great! What kind of characters do you want? If you hate sarcastic characters, well, guess what? There's an entire realm of non-sarcastic characters. But what is it you want? Do you want funny characters? Do you want serious characters? Do you want characters with a lot of background? Do you characters that with very little, that you don't want to spend a time in a wall of text dialogue? What do you want?
And I have to be honest with you. When it comes down to this, again, yes, gamers are going to be critical. They're going to tell you what they don't like about a game all day and night. They're going to be able to explain to you what they don't like about a game. And guess what? You're going to have to sit there and take it. You are. I get told countlessly what people don't like about my particular videos. And guess what? I just sit there and take it. I acknowledge what I can actually change. I acknowledge what I can actually do. And sometimes some of the criticism, I just have to throw to the wayside because it doesn't really apply to me. That's just the reality of creating something. That's the reality of all this. People are going to criticize you. And sometimes their criticisms are valid. They're going to always tell you what they hate. They're always going to tell you what they don't like. But there are going to be the gamers that sit there and tell you, hey, yeah, I don't like this. I don't like this for this reason. I don't like this for this reason. I don't like this for this reason. And it's a part of creating. It's a part of being a part of this. You are going to get criticized. It's not really rocket science to figure this out. But he continues on to even some more insane points, to be quite honest with you.
But wait, there's more. Even when you say what you want, you're often extraordinarily vague. You will say, I want a better game. I want better AI. I want a better UI. Yeah, I'll just slide the better slider from okay to great on all of those.
Okay, yeah. People are going to say that they want better stuff. People are allowed to say they want better stuff. Just because you're hearing a lot of people say, hey, we want a better game, we want a better story, we want a better UI, we want a better this, we want a better that. Okay, you notice that there's an issue there. Look through all this to find the people actually explaining what is wrong with these particular areas. If it's a story, hey, you hear somebody, I want a better story. Okay, what's wrong about the story? Well, then you start sifting around and seeing what's the chatter about the story? Why are people criticizing the story? What's the actual issues here? This is stuff that you actually have to do the work on if you put out a subpar game and you're getting a bunch of criticism. And yeah, you're getting some lackluster criticism here or there. You yourself have to put in the work to figure out what the issue is. It's not the gamer's job to put out the good quality content. It's your job to give us the good quality content. That's the difference here. And also, at the same time, you should have play testers. You should have actual critics come in. You should have people that actually know how to explain the issues that are going on here to then tell you what's happening. So then you take that feedback and apply it to your game. You apply it to what's going on, because there's always going to be gamers out there that just say, UI's garbage, UI's garbage. There's always going to be people out there saying, well, the story's just bad. Well, what parts of the story is bad? I need more details. Yes, you're right. You do need more details. So you need to go out there and figure out what the issues are. That's a part of all of this. His next point, honestly, yeah, I have to agree, yeah. But I'm going to let him say what he's about to say, and then I'm going to give you my actual points on it.
Here's the one that really gets me, and that many of you refuse to acknowledge. You all do not agree on what a good feature is.
Yeah, because not all gamers agree on what the actual issues are or what they actually like and what they actually dislike. Newsflash, not all gamers like the exact same style of game. Just because somebody likes, say, Halo doesn't mean they're going to like COD. And just because somebody likes COD doesn't mean they're going to like Gears of War. Gamers are different. Each gamer has something that they like in particular, because not all gamers are the same. Let's be real honest here. And when it comes to this, that also means that every gamer is going to have a different issue. Every gamer is going to have some different criticisms. And again, back to the overall criticisms. Sometimes what you're taking in, it's not going to be applicable. Heck, if you're playing a game like Stardew Valley, for example, and somebody comes to you and says, well, there should be an alien invasion that comes down and it's a bunch of Covenant people and they're going to then go out to try to destroy the universe utilizing a Halo and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, no, that people that are going to play Stardew Valley, that's more of a game for casuals. That's something completely different. That's not the exact same style of game as to say something that a Halo player is going to enjoy. There's two different things going on here. So yes, not all gamers are going to have the exact same issues with a game. Not even when it comes to character designers. Not all gamers are going to agree or disagree on what's going on here. Take a look at my recent coverage of Freedom Wars, for example. I find the fact that they have gone away with body type 1 and body type 2 to be more eye-rolling, but the simple fact that I also don't like the fact that they are now incorporating the men, for example, for body type 1 to also have the same voice packages as maybe body type 2 or the female body type. I don't like that. And guess what? It's fine for me to come out here and explain to why I don't like that, but when it comes to people that do like that or don't have an issue with it, they're also going to say, "Hey, I don't have an issue with this. I think this is a non-issue." That's perfectly fine because guess what? Gamers are all different and we have different opinions on different topics. Simple enough. But ultimately, though, he also says something very telling. I have to be honest with you because this whole video should have ended right about here, but he decided to keep going. But I do want to play you what he ended up having to say.
And you have reasons for doing it. I'm not saying you're wrong. What I am saying is there's no possible way to make a game that will make all of you happy.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no possible way to make a game that makes everybody happy. This is where you should have ended the video. Okay? The simple fact that you think that there's a way to make a game that it makes everybody happy, you're laughing. Again, take a game like Concord and Marvel Rivals. Marvel Rivals right now is blowing up for various reasons. One, because it's free to play, but two, the vast variety of character designs that everybody's enjoying, and also just an all-around fun time. But just because Marvel Rivals is blowing up and people are ranting and raving and saying just how wonderful that game is, doesn't mean that a gamer who likes Stardew Valley is going to come out of the woodworks and goes like, "I'm going to pick up Marvel Rivals." There's a chance that that guy who likes Stardew Valley isn't going to like Marvel Rivals. That's fine. Quit trying to make a game that appeals to everybody and start trying to make a game that simply applies to maybe the shooter genre, maybe the fighting genre. Maybe you want to do a hero shooter genre like Marvel Rivals. Make a game that's just focused in on that specific area and try to make a good game. That's simple enough. But after this point, he really just goes on to talk about other things within the games that are maybe UI based, graphic based, even like game options for disabled people that I don't even want to get into right now because that's going to make this video a whole lot longer than it already is going to be. But what I do want to focus in on is his next point, in which he sort of blames all this on the gamers again by basically saying that it's our fault that game devs aren't figuring this out.
So let me sum up, because I've been ranting for a while. I get that you, the individual, want what you, the individual, want. But you have to realize that you, the individual, are not very good at giving developers feedback, and that you, the individual, are not everybody the game's being made for. Many of you aren't even in the majority, and I hear you. I don't think I'm in the majority.
Yeah, you're right. There's going to be content that's made for people that people are going to still criticize. Take me, for example. When it came to Concord, I wasn't going to be a person that this game was actually ever going to target. I still criticized it because I could tell you what the issues were from a mile away. I could really easily say what the issues are. But the main reason why Concord wasn't made for me, outside of the whole DEI agenda, wokeness, and everything like that, and also the characters, Jesus Christ, it's because I'm not a hero shooter fan. I don't play hero shooters that much. Yes, there's some old streams on this channel in which I was playing Gundam Evolution, I believe it was at the time, but that's because I'm a Gundam fan. I like playing Gundam games. So yes, I play Gundam hero shooters. But when it comes to an overall hero shooter, I'm not a fan of them. I find them to be very boring, find them to be very lackluster, and there's just too much work that actually goes into most of these hero shooters. So yeah, I understand these games aren't made for me. And sometimes you're right. People are who the game was not actually designed for are going to criticize the game. But that goes to the original point. You have to sift through all that stuff. You have to sift through all that criticism to figure out what the actual criticism is. And if you can't figure out what the actual criticism is, then you're not doing your job very well. Gamers aren't going to always be able to articulate the issues. Not everybody can actually articulate their issues. Not everybody is me who's able to actually point out and say, hey, your issues are this. Or even not everybody's going to be like Angry Joe or Act Man, who are actually able to dig deep into why these games are good or not, and are actually able to articulate that. Not everybody's going to be like that. Not everybody has that ability, and that's perfectly fine, but you can't be coming out here and blaming all gamers for the fact that good chunk of people just can't articulate these issues. They can't explain it to a point that you can actually work with. And yes, that is something that does need to be worked on within our modern era and would a lot of people actually need to learn how to do. But just because not a whole lot of people understand how to do that doesn't mean their opinions are any less valid. And true, if you're, let's say again, a Stardew Valley player trying to criticize tons of aspects of Halo, yeah, your opinions are going to be held in less regard as an actual Halo fan. But his final point here, I really agree with, and you should have just had it the entire time. And this is honestly something that a lot more creatives in the world nowadays, and a lot more game developers should start learning how to do nowadays.
This is why, for most of my career, I just made what I wanted, what I liked. I hoped other people would like it, but it was me and the team just trying to make something we'd like that would make each other laugh, make each other have fun. And we were like, gee, I hope people like this. We weren't sure. We didn't care. And when marketing would ask us questions like, what's the demographic for your game? We didn't know. We didn't have an answer. And most of us, we didn't even care. We're like, I don't know. Why don't you go home and play the game and tell me what you think, who would like it? Many of you like my earlier games. Maybe it's because I did make them in a vacuum like that and I wasn't thinking what people thought. However, I can tell you my later games sold more copies. So what's the right path? I don't know.
Now, I don't fully disagree with his point here. If you want to make a game, make the game that you want to make. Actually, a lot of the times when it comes to the game that you want to make, usually those games are fun if you're just trying to make a good game. I do have some pushback here. Don't go out there and try to make a game for the Halo style audience, but then try to market it towards the Stardew Valley audience. You're not going to see crossover there. There's very little crossover, if any at all. That's a dumb idea. But on that same note, take Dragon Age the Veilguard, for example. The creator of that made the game she wanted to make. Yes, but that wasn't for the Dragon Age audience. That was for her tiny, tiny, tiny demographic and tiny, tiny, tiny fan base. So when people came out here and played this, they realized this isn't Dragon Age. This is something completely different. And they had issues with it. So yes, she made the game she wanted to make, but it was for the wrong audience and was for the wrong demographics. So again, when you're working with maybe a pre-established IP, you're already locked in. You have to make it for that fan base of that already pre-established IP. So you can make what you want. You can make the games that you want to make. You can do all this stuff, but there is these factors that you have to work in here. Again, his all-around point, I don't fully disagree with, but there is some more nuance to every aspect of what he's actually saying here. All in all, when it comes to this video, yeah, he's really laying the problem that devs have at the feet of the gamers. But the problem is a lot of the issues right now is the devs' fault. Them not being able to take criticism well, them not being able to actually handle certain situations, and it's not really gamers' fault. You're going to have bad criticism here and there, but at the same time, a lot of these issues are devs trying to do certain things that they shouldn't even be doing, and instead of actually listening to gamers and stuff like that, they just blame gamers and say that it's your fault my game didn't succeed. You need to do the work to actually make your own game succeed, and you need to figure out what gamers want. You need to sift through all this stuff. You need to sift through everything. Just because gamers aren't like Act-Man and are able to articulate all the issues they have with a video game doesn't mean that it's the gamer's fault. At the end of the day, you're trying to put out a product. You need to put in the work to make this product a good product. And guess what? If you put out a good product, if you simply put out a good game, market it well, gamers will come and they'll play the game and they'll let you know if they like it or if they don't. It's not a gamer's job to explain to you what the issues are with your game. But I'm going to leave it there, guys. Let me get your guys' thought on this down in the comments below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Share it out, friends. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell for every time I put out a new video live, guys. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.